Hello and welcome everyone, Lionheart here, and today I'm going to be showing you my Home of Wargamers presentation footage for Sovereignty. It's coming out on PC, it's got a Q3 2014 release, so hopefully we'll be seeing it in the next couple of months or so. Definitely be doing a first raw on it. It's got multiplayer and it's being developed by the Lords Game Studios. Now the Lords, if you don't know, have a background rather in Total War modding, so I was very excited to see what sort of full game they would be making. And from the lovely blurb that I have from the Home of Wargamers press book that I was given, Sovereignty is a turn-based fantasy strategy game for the PC. It combines a kingdom management campaign game with a generals level tactical battle game. In the campaign game, Sovereignty offers rich historical rivalries, backstabbing, intrigues, magical research, trade routes, naval escorts, unique units, heroes, and of course, war. I like that it's all in capitals, that's good. Each realm is handcrafted with its own culture, history, complement of units, spell trees, and diplomatic relations. But Sovereignty is not just a campaign game, it is also a tactical game. In times of war, heroes serve as generals of armies, and where hero armies meet, we zoom into a tactical hex-based battlefield and move individual units. Destroy your enemy, take objectives, win the day. That's Sovereignty. So, something to look at specifically in this presentation that's coming up, that I've got a sort of a snippet of the recording that I made, is when we look at that tactical battle. You have this grand strategy campaign map, and there's so many different factions, and again, the amount of research that's gone into kind of creating this history and lore of the game is fantastic. It really does draw me in to the fantasy world that's being created in Sovereignty. So I already, just from the presentation, I was like, you know, the Lords have put a lot into, you know, the background of the game, and if they put that much into the background of the game, you know, the foreground, the main gameplay mechanics are going to be very interesting. And the hex-based tactical battles are very interesting. I didn't get to see as much of them as I would like to have seen. Definitely be watching this one for first raw material. But yes, I hope you enjoy the preview. Enjoy.
Sovereignty is a fantasy-based wargame we're doing together with Gothic Labs, a small independent company from America. I'm presenting it here. It's a fantasy-based grand strategy game. Volume. Yeah. Set in a fantasy world. It's province-based. It's a very nice game, I think myself, because it has a lot of replay value, and I will explain why. Basically, here you see your realm. It consists of 35 provinces or lands that all have unique features and all play differently. Also, the races that you have in this world, you have human races, you have orc races, you have elves, you have dwarves, and you also have fantasy units that you can use, like there are unicorns, dragons, all this kind of stuff is possible. To give you an example, here you see the Iron Barony. This is an orc region. This is a very rich region with mines. They are very aggressive. But you also have orcs who are, you know, cuddly-friendly orcs who like to trade because they are surrounded by a lot of humans, and they got a little bit more adapted. So it is not that every orc is, you know, like in other fantasy games, always bad or always aggressive.
And these are sort of like different cultural tribes.
Yes, 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 yes. And they also have mixes. So you can have, for example, orc armies who, but I will tell you a little bit later, they will also have mercenaries and stuff. The Vesor, for example, are a little bit human. They are a little bit nomad, tribal, Mongol kind of tribes, and also their countries are big provinces with a lot of steppes. And also, when I talk later about the maps, all the maps in the game are completely the same as in the campaign layer, but I will explain it later. Today I'm going to show you, and then of course, yeah, we have also naval-orientated nations. So you also have, for example, here our Aracel is a human realm that are basically traders and pirates. So they have also some raiding abilities. They can, for example, raid a province and get some money and still get out of it quickly, and others cannot do that, they have to occupy it. And
so they're kind of Viking, are they?
Well, a little bit inspired by Vikings, yes. Of course, we put our You know, when we present the game, every realm.
Inspired by the Dutch.
Yeah, by the Dutch. Pirates and trading. Basically, they're my ancestors. So I'm showing to show you here Zonneneven. Zonneneven is a high elf region. You have other elves. You have here in the south. You have wood elves. They also play a little bit differently. And you have night elves who are, well, much more darker and stuff. But I'm going to show you here Zonneneven, the high elf region, to explain you a little bit the game. Yeah? But every region is completely different. It can have another race or a mix, or nothing is the same. They are high elves. Their alignment is good. That means that they are you know, everybody loves elves. They are more magical, diplomatic in style. So they try to remain friends, not expand, but defend their woods and you know, do their magic and whatever they do. They have two heroes. Heroes are very important because they play a role in battle, but I will explain it later. They have two allies at the moment, and they have one trade route. Trade route are also very important, and I will explain later as well, go more in depth about these features. On the campaign level, you have several kind of campaign games that you can do. You know, we have especially for our American friends, Last Man Standing, slaughter everybody. They like winning and conquering everybody. And then we have some other, for example, rivalry. Here you have to try to get a little bit bigger than your other elfin brotherhoods and stuff like that. So you have different kind of play styles if you want to. Here you have some nice, of course in the story we probably will do voice-overs and all these kind of stuff with a nice voice explaining a little bit to get you a little bit more immersed. You know, reading text is always boring, but when you have a good voiceover, it's better. Uncertain is just the level of how difficult this is to play, but I will show you later why. Because it's a very small region, basically, they don't have a lot of resources, so playing the elves is quite harder than, for example, one of the big units. Hardcore level is for fetish players who really like to be challenged. Information here, also very important, because it explains also some game principles. High elves are a civilized realm. That means that some realms, they cannot declare war. They can declare war, but they have to wait a turn before they can attack. So in this case, you have to declare war first, and then you have to wait a turn, and then you can attack, and not instantly attack everybody around you. Like, for example, some orcs, of course, they don't care about diplomacy. They just want to slaughter you.
As much as they're good orcs.
Yeah, that's why orcs are great. You also have some important stuff here explaining about the landmarks. I will explain it a little bit later in the province. But every realm has one or two special landmarks, and they give some bonuses to a certain provinces. But I will explain it a little bit more later. Just one here, for example, the Sun Disk of the West. That's a landmark that is on one of the provinces, and all the undead that come into that province will take 4 damage every turn in this province. So it's a sort of protection, and of course the protection is because one of the realms nearby has a lot of undead, and I mean that's all balancing stuff. So let's get in. This is an alpha version, guys, so this is not into beta yet. If something happens, it's the programmer's fault, not mine.
Or you click the wrong button.
Probably. No, we also use these tips, you know. I will keep them on for the demonstration because you can read them and then explain a little bit more the game. I will now click it away, but basically I will start here on the top. Here you see some, I'm not going to click it because I'll do it later. You have the most important stuff in this world is happening. There is a lot of stuff happening in the world when you're playing, you know, alignments, you know, allies will form around you, there's a diplomacy trait, and here you get the most important messages. On top here you have your turns, you have your gold situation. Of course you can also zoom out, zoom in into the map. I didn't do it in the other presentations, but okay, that's, I think, logic. Here you have your ticker bar, and in your ticker bar you get your message history. Now it looks a little bit empty because nothing happened yet, but because the game is so huge, you will go back here a lot and see, you know, okay, what happened a few turns back because I forgot. On this side we have the objective button. Basically it's a reminder of what you have to do in this typical campaign. You have to ally with your other elven friends, become a great power, blah 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 blah. Basically all your objectives that you have in the game. And it depends on what campaign style you're playing. On top, let us start here, is the spell bar. Also very important, this game, every few turns, and it depends also again per realm and per nation, you get spell points. These spell points, you can invest these spell points in basically in some spells that have advantages or disadvantages for your enemy, or defensive spells. It depends a little bit. They can be economic, military, whatever. For example, to give you, I will show you one here. It's a level 1 spell point. Of course, I can also choose not to use it and wait for a much powerful spell later on in the game, straightforward. But for purposes to show, this is it's the Woodlore spell. It means that for the duration of 12 turns, any province that I choose will have one more economic output, so will be a little bit more, give me a little bit more cash. So I'm going to learn it. I have 1 point, so I say yes, thank you. Ah, there's my spell, thank you. And I'm just going to apply it immediately. Where is my province? There, on my main province here. That's over there. There's my capital is. And you see it went up here, the economic level from 6 to 7. It's an economic level, it's not the amount of points that you get, but it's now a higher level. You can also, but I will explain it a little bit later when I'm coming here, also enhance it otherwise, but this is one of the things this spell does. Then your most important thing is the map. Here you have your provinces, your home provinces that are highlighted. Each province has an economic level, some are higher, some are lower. This is your capital, very important that you keep your capital. And here you have the landmarks. You know, as you see, the Sun Disk of the West, as I explained before, and the other landmark in this case is the Seal Valley. And it's the Dryad's Vale. I mean, any human or dwarf unit that comes occupy there will take a few hits because prisoners are taken, because the Dryads will lure them to them. And I will explain why they lure them to them. It's quite obvious. If you also occupy a province with an invading army, first of course you have to fight for it. Maybe there's no army, then you can occupy it, but it will take a few turns before the people are used to your new race, and of course they can revolt. And also the economic output will go down, will go to 0 and then slowly start. So it will not, you take a province and you have the money. That's only when you have a raider ability, then you can first turn take all the money and go away. But in this case, you cannot easily conquer a province. It's just not putting in your army and it's mine. That is not working like this. Am I on time?
You're 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
Okay. So guys, well, of course every province has some explanation to do, money, blah 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 blah. Then we go to the minimap. Here on the minimap I can show, this is the political view. Basically here you see all your provinces, all your rivalries, and here is the geopolitical view. It's important because here when you click on it you can see, for example, your vassal here in the north. They don't have any allies, they don't have any enemies at this point. So it's useful information to have when you go further in the game. You want to see what is going on around you. Diplomatic view, and this is also a very important view. This is where you have some other possibilities. For example, you can send a diplomat. Sending a diplomat to a province, I will send it. It will give you benefits. Your relationship will improve with that realm, but not always. For example, yeah, the ambassador gets drunk, gives a party, goes too far, and yeah, okay. So it can also have some bad influences. It will differ, but in the end, of course, you send an ambassador to improve relationships. So you can offer an allyship or trade relations, or you can declare war, of course. Well, another aspect I want to explain is trade, and I'm trying to find something interesting. Here. No. Trade. Well, why is trade important? You only have a few trade routes, and trading with each nation gives you a different kind of advantage. So in this case, for example, if you going to trade with them, then you will see that the upkeep of all standard units will go down with -4 every turn. So every trading with each nation is different. It gives you different bonuses. So you have to pick your trading routes carefully. And also you can of course change, because maybe in the beginning you want to have smaller upkeep for your units so you can attack more, and once you get more realms you want to have some, and I don't know, benefits from getting more money or whatever.
Do you have a limit on the number of trades
Yes,
you can have?
most of them is 1 or 2, and some of the real trade games you can have 3. So there's a limit. It's not for everyone. It's not the same. It's different. And the other advantage here is all units in any fortification you own will have minus 15 upkeep. I mean, interesting, could be an interesting trade route to if you want to, for example, play defensive.
So if you had a trading republic type culture, they'd probably have more trade.
Yeah. Well said. Trading republic have more, and also when you have, like, for example, here the aerocells, who are really, you know, shipbuilders. They have much stronger navy. You can have navies. You know, navies. The elves don't have a naval ability. They have a port, but only elven ship can come there. In this particular case. Of course, they have navies, and you see there's a blue dot and an anchor. You don't see it because it's in the fog of war.
So, although you have the capacity to trade, you're not forced or pigeonholed into going down.
No, if you don't want to,
but it makes sense to.
Because they also the people you trade with will have benefits when trading with you. Sure. Now, okay, then here we have the upgrade system. Basically, you can also upgrade your provinces, and it will cost you a lot of money. So you can go a level up, but it will cost you always a lot of money. So in the long term, it is more profitable to have better economic levels, but in the beginning, maybe you should invest more in your defenses and forces and stuff like that. Still have time, JD?
Yeah, you got a few minutes yet.
Okay. Interesting. Well, that is my drive. Look at that. I mean, I would be learned. I would follow her into.
I have one question.
Huh?
Is there many artworks? Is
Yes.
there a lot of artworks?
Yes. Well,
because the map is beautiful. Personally, I like it, but of all the places, the town, and so on, it's all about artworks to help see what it is. See a town.
Yeah, I mean every like on the map, for example, your building is different, but every your special buildings are different, but they are different. Of course, different pictures. Okay. Everything is different. The units are sometimes shared because you also have mercenaries. So you can sometimes, as humans, also hire elven light infantry as mercenaries, but you will see it on the map. So you have your infantry, your artillery, of course, your bows and your cavalry, and of course you can also have siege equipment and naval, but they are disabled here for elves because they don't have them. If I train a unit, you can also compare stats, of course. You have all the classical attack stats, defense stats, ranged, and when you hover over other, you see the differences also in upkeep, in cost. I mean, the classical strategic stuff I don't have to explain to you as experts. You understand. Here you see, of course, now my money is totally grayed out. You can see here it takes 3 turns, and if I say, no, sorry, I made a mistake, you just click it and buy it again. So, okay, let's do a turn. Now here you already see the first, what is happening, you see much is going on, you get the information. Very interesting, finally, my lovely hero. Heroes are very important. I can attach my hero to an army. Very important, and I explain why. Hero here now, you see here the stack, the stacks. Here is my hero, she's a druid, she will have 50 nature damage on every other light infantry that comes and fight me. So it's a defensive bonus, but you can play that on the battle as a battle card. This is how it works basically. And also the units get experience when they are in battle. They go up levels and they get extra abilities, unique abilities that you can choose of. So for example, archers, my favorite ones, my elven longbows, they have a range of 5. I mean, they are. Yeah, 1 minute. Okay, move an army, blah blah blah. Other important thing is you have some unique units, like for example unicorn. You can only have 1. It's a very strong unit. It's a powerful unit. It also you can see it here. It's an elite unit. And you have some units like the Dryads who are forest home. That means they cannot go and invade other armies. They just protect their home realm, and you cannot use them. So if you want to attack somebody, you have to declare war and then invade. I'm going to show that in a little movie because I don't have a lot of time, so I can do it. Can I do it quickly, JD?
Very quickly.
Jesus Christ, half an hour is not enough to explain this game.
You're doing very well, Tim. We all admire your skills. Get a move on.
Yeah.
Are there other maps or just a single?
Yeah,
map?
this big realm map.
Always want to.
But here you go, when you go into battle, you see a little arrow, but you will see it here. That's why I made a little movie, because I didn't have a lot of time to
It was a random map? No, it was not random.
What?
The map we seen,
Yes.
it was not random.
But here you see it here, you know? When you now attack with an army, it has a proper, you can attack with armies with heroes, without heroes. The only thing is, if you go without heroes, the battles are auto-automated. Here you see the deploy zone, so here you come into the tactical battles. Basically, you can move your units if you want to, you have your objectives, towns that you have to conquer. It's the basic tactical, hex-based strategic game when you go into the battle. So, blah blah blah, okay, come on. Okay, so here you see your turns, things that you have to conquer, and also you can play now, if you would like to, your special hero. And sometimes it can be a spell like all the units, enemy units in towns will hit 50% damage. So that's a good spell. But here the spell is not so interesting because it's 35 more damage points when attacked in forest. So I wouldn't use that on this map. So it's a choice that you have. And like I said, here you see the movement, typical stuff. But other things to mention as the last thing, JD, and then I will finish, is that you see all the map art is unique for the provinces, so they are custom made. So every map, when you go tactical, is the exact same as the map or the province that you see on the campaign map. So if there is a big river in the middle, there will be a big river.